The Everfest Carnival is on its way to town, and we started off spoiler week with 13 spoilers. Day 1 recap coming at you. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, Flesh and Blood folks. Welcome back to Dice Commando and to Go Again, a fabulous cast. That's right, it's the week we've been waiting for quite a while now, especially over the holiday season. It felt longer, but it is here. So today I'm doing the day 1 spoiler recap. It is my intention to try and do one of these each day. We will see if that's possible or not with life, but that's the plan. So the other plan is to try to do it in basically an average of 1 minute per card. So we'll see how that goes. Today's video is sponsored by FabDB. Remember, once everything's out, they're going to get it ported over and let your theory crafting begin. Right, head over there for collection, searching, and doing all your deck building, get it ported into Felt Table for all the testing, and so on. FabDB is a fantastic resource for all of us to use. Definitely something that I use on a near daily basis for Flesh and Blood. All right, guys, so we started off the day, well, we knew what was coming because of what I have over here, and I want to make sure that the correct content creators are given their shouts out or given a shout out, given their shouts outed, whatever. Make sure that they're recognized for the work that they put in to do the spoiler, whether it was just posting it or whether it was doing a video or something like that. So we started off the day with a bang, and it's appropriate that he's first. Bravo, star of the show. So Elemental Guardian Hero, essence of all three, or I should say at least all three that we know now. At the start of your turn, you can reveal an Earth, Ice, and Lightning card from your hand. If you do, the next attack action card with cost 3 or greater you play this turn gains +2, dominate, and go again. So you first read that and you're like, holy buckets, like, wow. On the other hand, like, you may reveal an Ice, Earth, and Lightning, right? So it's all three. So that's going to be hard to do. I mean, the pulses, he can run all 3 pulses. He'll run at least 2 of them. I mean, Bravo likes Remembrance too. I mean, I'm just saying on a traditional Bravo deck, which this is clearly not going to be, he likes Remembrance, and Pulse of Candlehold kind of does that, right? So there's no reason for him not to run both. Still, you don't really have much of an ability. It's not like you can Arsenal one of those, right? So we'll see how often that comes out. He's only a Majestic, right? Which is pretty cool. So and that is kind of a theme that I'm going to be paying attention to as I go through not only these but the whole week, is looking at the rarity, because so far from what I've seen, there's an interesting breakdown on the rarity in terms of what you don't want to do is have a bunch of garbage M's or a bunch of M's that are too good, because actually what's worse is to have both, because then you get that dichotomy. All right, moving into card number 2, which is Bingo. That's a bingo. When Bingo hits a hero, they reveal a random card from their hand. If an attack action card is revealed this way, Bingo gains Go Again. If a non-attack action card is revealed this way, draw a card. 1 for 5 is pretty decent. This is also a Majestic. Defense for 3, which is pretty good. It's kind of, I think this is kind of a cool effect. It'll have to go, I think, in some pretty niche decks. I could actually see, like, just off the top of my head, right, I could see Ninja running this, right, because, you kind of do, like, the Torrent Tempo gets Go Again if it hits. This has to hit 2, and then you're still not given, but, I don't know, there's probably some niche uses for this. I do think probably you're not going to be super happy if you pull this as probably not going to be super happy if you pull this as an M, but, defense for 3, right, so fair enough. Fire Breathing, I love this card because it's basically, the title is just, it's a throwback to, like, it's an OG MTG card, right? I mean, it's what it does, right? So it's a 2 for 3, defense 3. This is also Majestic, by the way. Instant 1, gains +1. Activate only while it's attacking. Well, duh. I mean, not duh. Like, I guess if it didn't say that, you could do it to Prism, right? So that, I mean, that's fair. I mean, aside, so I do love this, and I love the throwback, but that's basically where it ends, because at least on the surface, I'm having a hard time seeing why this is better than Exude, right? Because Exude's still a 0/4. And Exude, yes, Exude needs blues, and this is more efficient, right? So Exude, remember, Exude is a 3 for 2, and this is 1 for 1, and you can do it in increments of 1. I get it, but I think you'd rather have Exude in your hand. But that's just me. So we'll see what people can do with it. If I mean, obviously, if you're not running a bunch of blues, then maybe the pump on Exude's not as good. But then, I mean, yeah, I don't know. We will see. All right, this card is odd. This is also Majestic. Knick-Knack, Bric-a-Brac. So as an additional cost, you can blow up copper, silver, and gold. This one costs 3, right? So it's not like Cash In, which is 4, where you reduce the cost. This is an additional cost. You blow up your gold, or whatever. Blow up your coins. Search your deck for a card with Amulet, Potion, or Talisman, its name put into the arena, then shuffle for each additional way. Repeat the process. It is kind of funny that it said, I mean, everybody will just skip this step, right? Like if you're going to go for 2, you won't shuffle in between, but technically that's what the card says, which is just kind of funny just with the way it was written. They could have moved the then shuffle to the end. Again, not a huge deal. I don't know. This doesn't, I mean, again, it's early. We know there's a lot of potions and stuff coming out. This does not seem very cost effective, because it kind of feels to me like by the time you have a bunch of coins out to do it, that you're kind of, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. Like to do it, just because it doesn't feel right to tutor stuff mid game, I guess, if that makes sense. But we'll see what people can do. I mean, we've seen some coin stuff as well, so I don't know. But my initial reaction on this take is like, I think that's going to be a bummer M to pull, right? I mean, that's my main thing. Pick a card, any card, 0 generic action. Look at target opponent's hand, then name a card. Choose a random card from the hand and reveal it. If it is the name card, create a silver token. Repeat this process thrice. So you get to do it 4 times, right? Because you're repeating it thrice, repeating it 3 times. So you get to do it 4 times for the 4 cards in their hand. Do note, though, that if you can get other cards out of their hand, you will obviously have a better chance of doing it. So it's kind of neat. Hand knowledge is never a bad thing, right? And it does have go again. So, I mean, it can feed the Runies, the Runeblades, right? If that's what they want. And then, I mean, are there cash-in plays with the Runeblades? Potentially, right? And remember, cash-in also is a non-attack with go again. So this is interesting. It's interesting. And again, like I said, hand knowledge is never a bad thing anyway. So yeah, now this is a rare. All right, even bigger than that. Play even bigger than that only if you've dealt damage, hit damage this turn, right? So if you've hit. Opt 3, then reveal the top of your deck. If it has attack greater than the amount of damage that you've dealt this turn, create a quicken token and draw a card. It's an instant, right? So you have pretty easy control over that. Don't necessarily need the action point. And it sets you up with a quicken for the future. This is not a bad deal, actually, right? There's a couple heroes that could use this. Arguably remember, quicken automatically pops. So you have to, that is one restriction, is that the quicken token pops automatically. So you have to make sure that you're going to be able to take advantage of it next turn. And you won't necessarily know what's coming, so maybe you have something in arsenal. I don't know, but this one's kind of interesting. I can definitely see some, because you get to opt, so you have a pretty decent chance of making it happen. So like maybe Warrior could try and use this. We'll have to see there. My guess would be that, I mean, I know that everybody's head's on it right now, but like my guess would be that like Guardian would be pretty good with this, right? Because then you could potentially set up some sort of swing play into your hammer. So that's really where my head goes here. But like, Flock of the Featherwalkers and stuff used to be kind of a staple for Warrior to get its go again. So, I mean, it'll get the job done, right? High Striker, generic action, 0. The next, so this is a rare, by the way, so you assume it would have some sort of, I don't know. We will see. We will see if the rares have the full color band. If all rares, I should say, have the full color band. One would assume they does, but who knows? Till we see it. The next time an attack you control hits this turn, create 6 copper tokens. Go again. That's pretty cool. So not remind. This has the Plunder Run style effect where it carries for the turn, which is interesting, right? And then, like I said, like maybe there's a Runeblade cash in play out there. Like Chane maybe could use this, right? Because he's able to throw up a couple. And it's next time an attack, right? It's not attack action. So if your weapon hits, it still does it. So, and it gives you what you need to get another, right? It gives you your non-attack and your attack. So potentially there's some Runeblade play, like I said, some Runeblade cash-in plays. And once we see the full set, or maybe they're dumping them all on us day one, but once we see the full set of all that, it'll be interesting to sit down and kind of theory craft out what that might end up looking like. So we'll put that and put the pin in the hat for that. All right, Smashing Good Time is a rare generic action, 0. Next time an attack action card hits a hero this turn, you may destroy an item they control with cost 2 or less. Cool. If Smashing Good Time is played from Arsenal, the next attack action card you play this turn gains +3, go again. So it should look distinctly like Plunder Run, except there's no card draw. You're just blowing up, and again, it carries. So, I think with what we're seeing with, several of them we haven't gotten to yet, but we knew there was going to be items galore in this set. It makes sense to have some sort of counter to that. So cheers. All right, Arcane Lantern. So this one's a rare. It is a generic equipment offhand, Arcane Barrier 1. This card's super cool. I don't know how yet, though, right? I think Guardian likes this with the one-handed hammer. Titan's Fist, right? Pretty cool. It implies maybe there'll be other. Again, we don't know, but this is really cool. Because one of the things you hate about Arcane is taking away from your equipment, right? Sacking equipment you need to run Arcane Barrier. So I guess maybe you're sacking a weapon you need, but there are definitely. I think this is strong. Maybe not strong, but I think it's not strong. It's utility, right? So it's useful. Right, a Wild Ride. So all of our brute guys were talking on this now. Do note this one is a common, okay? So this one's a common, so don't flip out too much on all of it being bad. But so it's a 2-drop, 6/5/4, assumingly 2/6/5/4 for the pitches. When you attack with it, draw a card, discard a random card. If card with 6 or more is discarded, it gains go again. So, the easy comparison here is to pulping, right? Do note that this doesn't defend. So you also have like Smash Big Tree remnants in your head. It's 1 less attack than Smash Big Tree is, which fits for go again, essentially costing 1. We've seen that in many cases across many heroes where having natural go again will cost you 1. It's kind of interesting though, because this isn't a natural go again because it costs you like the card. So in that case, you'd think go again should be valued at like a half. I think it's a bummer this one doesn't swing for 7, I think is the bummer. I know there's obviously attack curves there, but the reason I say that is because then you could run the yellow pitch at 6. And I think that would make this far more attractive for Brute. Because right now this just seems like maybe you play it. But again, remember, it's a common, okay? So it's not the end of the world. But again, my Brute players will have to let me know out there what they're thinking about it. It doesn't necessarily mean that this is not a playable card. It just means that in terms of comparing it to the others that exist, it seems a little less optimal. All right, Amulet of Haven Call. So, let's read it first. So go again, defense reaction, destroy the amulet, search your deck for a card named Rally the Rearguard, add it to this chain link as defending card, then shuffle. Activate this ability only if you have no cards in hand, right? So that's the limiting part, right? So I went through a lot of iterations in my head on this because I was like, oh, you can get it in your hand and then like maybe Wizard can do something. But there's so many things that's wrong on, right? Because you have to have no cards in your hand, and it has to go to the chain link. So it's interesting, right? Because you can only use it if you have no cards in your hand. So, I mean, it does help Wizard in that sense, because like Wizard could do Wizard things and then have no cards in their hand, and then they could still defend. So that's neat, right? And it is a blue, which does not suck. But, you know, like I said, my initial reaction of like, oh, well, we can use it and get it, and we can get that card in our hand for something to pitch. That obviously won't work because it goes into the chain. So we'll have to see. Right now, the only place in my head that this will work for is Wizard. So we'll have to see what the smart Wizard guys can do with it. But right now, I'm not sold on it. But I won't write it off entirely. It just seems pretty unique. All right, Potion of Luck. So this is a rare again. So this is a blue 0 instant. Destroy it. Shuffle your hand and arsenal into your deck. Then draw that many cards. Ranger likes this. I think Ranger keeps this just in case they get locked out on a 3 of a kind turn. Right? We've all had like a cruddy 3 of a kind turn or something like that, right? So you throw this down on maybe one of your like Lexi go agains that you're not be able to do anything with. Throw it down. Of course, maybe the reason you aren't able to do anything with it is because you have this in your hand, so fair enough. But like I said, it is a blue. But anyway, you throw it down, and it basically gives you a get-out-of-jail-free card. And do note that if for whatever reason you do have 2 slots in your arsenal, you can get 6 cards, right? Up to 6 cards, right? So that's kind of cool. And now it's instant too, right? Do keep in mind it's an instant, so you can use it. You can use it at a time when you would have an instant. It doesn't have to be used on your turn. All right, Talisman of Featherfoot, go again. This is a yellow 0. When an attack you control gains exactly 1 from an effect during the reaction step, destroy Talisman, and the attack gains go again. Now, note it could gain it from an instant or whatever, because as long as it just happens during that phase. But the way I read this card, and I'm pretty sure it's the way it works, is it has to gain it during that phase, right? There is an argument to be made. So that is the proper English way to read this card. We haven't seen that always holds. So I could see people out there arguing that during the reaction step you pop this, but then I'm pretty sure it would say attack reaction, do it, right? So I'm pretty sure that you have to gain the +1. So there's a lot of theory anyway. So there's a lot of theory crafting coming out of this. I mean, lunging press, you guys know I run that Ranger. It's a dirty play with like Boltyn shot, right? So I run lunging press. That seems like really good with this because you could have these in and then you could stack them, right? So playing this from hand and using it seems bad, but being able to get 2 or 3 of them in the arena and set up like a really dirty turn, I think is how this one's going to work. So I think you either run, like this is something I think you run 3 of in your deck, because I think you're trying to set up some like bizarro world, maybe a 3 of a kind turn. I mean, that's just what we were just talking about, right? But I think that's where you go, is I think you try to stack these somehow. But then again, remember, you have to somehow give it in the reaction step. So, I mean, who else does that is Boltyn, but then maybe if you have it out, like, are they going to block? Probably not. I don't know. Anyway, but there's a couple different combos, couple different possibilities out there. Blue Razors, it feels bad. I think you play lunging press, but you guys follow. All right, so that does it. Did we do it in? No, not quite. But that's okay. So, all right, guys. So that'll cap up day 1. Like I said, planning on being back all this week. Let me know what you guys are excited about. What did you like today? What didn't you like today? What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Let me know in the comments. Yeah. So remember, if you, for whatever reason, if you don't have your pre-orders in yet, you can call. I would call up my friends over at Gongai Games, see what they can do in terms of the pre-orders game. And remember, code 10 Commando 10. You can tell them code Commando 10 over the phone, and you still get your 10% off. And of course, after all this is said and done, and the packs get cracked, when you're looking to buy those singles, I know a lot of people this round who aren't buying boxes or cases. They're just going to go straight to the singles. Travis over at Fab Foundry, he'll hook you up if you use my link below. He will make sure to give me a little kickback on that, so I can also fill out my Everfest stuff, and much appreciated. So anyway, folks, thank you very much for tuning in. I will see you guys all this week, and if nothing else, folks, go Commando.